Can Ripple beat the SEC? When will Ripple present new arguments in its defense? How much will XRP cost after the trial ends? We will answer these questions in today's video. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel and we're getting started. Ripple's A22, David Schwartz, has become a Twitter star. In a tweet yesterday, the Ripple executive and XRP ledger creator made a comment about peeing in a pool, provoking the backlash. "I was assured that as long as nobody is particularly close to you in a pool full of people, nobody would know that you did," Schwartz writes. "I realize now that this only applies if you're in the pool." The crypto and XRP communities have reacted in force to the amusing tweet. A few Twitter users thought that the Ripple executive's comments may have some hidden meaning. As a consequence, efforts have been made to create ties to liquidity sources. Unfortunately, no such evident relationships seem to exist. It should be noted that, as previously stated, XRP ledger developers are now testing a native automated market maker, AM. Schwartz believes that the AM's qualities, such as the ability to provide single-side liquidity supply, distinguish it from other comparable products. Those who thought the joke amusing but could not see any deeper meaning uploaded tales and memes in response. Nonetheless, the tweet has received appreciation from an unexpected source, Cardano developer Charles Hoskinson. It's also worth noting that Hoskinson's relationship with the XRP community is strained. Notably, he has previously clashed with the community over statements he made about the alleged Ripple settlement date and comments he made concerning the relationship between officials at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and Ethereum. Hoskinson said in December that he would no longer be making remarks on the matter due to the toxic and petty attitude of the XRP community. Furthermore, he said that he had no qualms about terminating relations with the community since XRP had no technical or financial value. Ripple to David Schwartz and Bitcoin supporter Demester recently had a Twitter dispute over whether Ethereum, ETH, was preferable than Microsoft. Miss Thief's shares. Demester initiated the debate with a tweet on the Howey test, a legal criteria for establishing whether or not an investment is a security. Demester stated that ETH meets the Howey test because it is a pooled investment in which the profits are dependent on the efforts of others. "I'm not sure I understand what you're saying," Schwartz remarked. "You assert that ETH represents a joint financial investment in a joint venture. They acquired their ETH directly from ETH, you say?" Fox Business's Eleanor Terrett says the SEC will make a huge announcement tomorrow. The case Ripple is fighting at the SEC is almost over. Attorney James K. Feline says all the evidence has been presented, and the decision will be made by Judge Annalisa Torres. For thousands of XRP holders, attorney John E. Deaton has been representing their interests as a friend of the court, and he recently argued that an out-of-court settlement is unlikely before the court ruling. The lawyer had faith that the regulator would fight to the very end after the El-Bri decision and the FTX crash. Thus, he believes a settlement will occur only after the court has stayed the trial and heard appeals. A lot has happened in the El-Bri case since the lawyer made that forecast. Attorney for Naomi Brockwell claims that the judge ruled that secondary market sales of El-Bri credits are not subject to his earlier ruling that such sales constitute securities. The lawyer claims that the SEC was forced to admit that the assets in the investment contract are not securities by the judge. Ripple's general counsel has likened the SEC's case to the Chinese spy balloon shot down by the U.S. military, and we're all waiting for the court to make a decision. And this is something that Terrett recommends. According to Bloomberg, the SEC is looking into the leading cryptocurrency exchange for selling unregistered securities to U.S. citizens. Unnamed sources claim that the investigation is wrapping up and that a resolution could be reached in the next few days. According to CoinMarketCap, $629 million was traded on Kraken during the past 24 hours, making it the third largest spot cryptocurrency exchange. It offers access to 221 unique digital currency options. It is unclear from the report which of these are considered securities by the U.S. market regulator. The reported SEC claims can be understood in light of the chair of the SEC's views on cryptocurrencies. If not Bitcoin, Gary Gensler considers most cryptocurrencies to be security. Earlier this year, the SEC filed charges against Gemini and Genesis Trading for allegedly offering and selling unregistered securities through Gemini's Earn program. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong tweeted on February 8 at 11 p.m. Utched that he had heard rumors that the SEC would prohibit retail investors from staking cryptocurrency. According to Coinbase's CEO, if this is the case, it will hurt the country. Armstrong claims that running blockchains in conjunction with users enhances scalability, security, and carbon footprint. Armstrong echoes this sentiment, saying that staking can be dangerous. To prevent us technology from being stifled, Coinbase's CEO has once again called for clear crypto rules. Armstrong used the collapse of Fox to argue that the SEC's focus on enforcement alone forces businesses to relocate overseas. Through staking, users are rewarded for securing crypto assets, which are then used to verify blockchain transactions. With Cardano, you can stake liquid assets without having to keep them in a bank. Investments in cryptocurrencies fall under the purview of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Gensler claims that if Ethereum adopts POS, it will be considered a security. Cryptocurrency exchanges impose fees for staking. Coinbase had 12.8 of the 16 METH staked in January, making it the second most popular Ethereum network staking service. Therefore, prohibiting retail staking may be detrimental to the company's bottom line. Similarly, the SEC is investigating Coinbase for selling unregistered securities to U.S. customers. The SEC claims that 9 of Coinbase's cryptocurrencies are securities in its insider trading case against a former project manager and 2 others. Investors may move their funds to less censored decentralized services like Lido if the SEC bans retail crypto staking. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) lawsuit against Ripple Labs is not the only battle the company is currently fighting. In fact, there's a court case that has been under trial for a longer period of time. The class action lawsuit filed by XRP investors against Ripple Labs and CEO Brad Garlinghouse, which has been pending since November 2018. The case, which is being heard in the U.S. state of California, is led by lead plaintiff Bradley Sostek, with 3 lawsuits, Zakinoff, O'Connor, and Greenwald. Consolidated into one, the plaintiffs accuse Ripple of selling XRP as an unregistered security and seek damages for losses suffered from the sale and alleged promises by Ripple. In addition, the plaintiffs are asking the court to also classify XRP as a security. Attorney John E. Deaton, who is already involved with a respective amicus brief in the Ripple vs. SEC and Elbree vs. SEC cases, is now getting involved in this case as well. As prominent criminal defense attorney James Phelan writes in a series of tweets, Deaton is filing an amicus brief in Zakinoff vs. Ripple. Phelan writes that the proposed class would include XRP holders around the world, including the 75,890 holders in the SEC case who have joined Ripple's arguments and disagree with the plaintiffs in Zakinoff, saying that XRP is not a security. Moreover, the proposed class action is not limited to direct sales by Ripple, but extends to all sales of XRP, including secondary sales and international sales in countries where the token has already been classified as not a security. Deaton argues in his motion that the court should not certify the class because of these conflicts and because there are only a small number of holders who claim that Sharpie is an unregistered security, while vastly more token holders worldwide claim that it is not. Just added to our document library, order granting John Dayton-owned admission pro hacks, vice representing XRP holders in U.S. District Court for Northern District of K in Ripple Labs into litigation. Link to order. Fred Rispoli, also an attorney from the community, commented on Deaton's move with applause, saying, "Being familiar with class actions, the class certification battle is the most important fight in these types of cases. John coming in here in this capacity is a real kick in the balls top. Plaintiffs' counsel. And I don't disagree with John, but the ball kick cannot be overstated." For his part, Deaton commented on Phelan's announcement on Twitter, saying, "Whether it's the SEC or a plaintiff's attorney, making the absurd argument that secondary market transactions of a token are also securities it may have been previously offered or sold in a way that violated Section 5 of the Securities Act. I'll see you in court."